likely to maintain a loose monetary policy and continue to provide credit support to the economy at least into early 2023. I'm Annabelle Drawlers, Bloomberg Daybreak Asia.
All right, well, we have at the moment time just gone 7:30 here in Hong Kong, 6:30 in the evening on Wall Street. Diplomatic meetings between China and the United States have set the stage for U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit next year. Ed Baxter has global news.
Yeah, Rich, these meetings described as being very, very good.
We had what the Chinese called in-depth and constructive talks. The U.S. said the talks were candid. They were between the Assistant U.S. Secretary of State Daniel Breitenbrink, as well as the National Security Council Senior Director for China and Taiwan, Laura Rosenberger. And again, they're trying to set the stage and trying to find some common ground in contentious issues that are very difficult to find common ground. Probably at the top of that list is going to be Taiwan. There's still reverberations from Nancy Pelosi's visit there.
Stand up for U.S. interests and values and defend order in the world. It says it will properly handle issues in building its bilateral nations and relations with Taiwan. Now, China calls for thinking about world globalization. The two both. The deadline to pass the U.S. budget in Congress is nearing, and Bloomberg's Jenny Shan Zeno today here on Bloomberg Balance of Power said things just got much tighter for the Democratic majority.
And just to tell you how tight this thing is, we saw Karen Bass. She became the first African-American woman to be mayor of Los Angeles. She took her post, but she left Congress, leaving Democrats in the House with just 2 votes that they can spare on this bill. So that's how tight things are in Congress right now.
Yeah, that's in the House. The Senate, Jeannie says, Sinema moved. Independents also tightens the Senate. As for the other maverick Democrat, Joe Manchin.
I'm not a Washington Democrat. I don't know what else to tell you. But I have a lot of friends who are Washington Republicans. And if a Washington independent is at more comfort, we'll see what happens there. We'll have to look.
Interesting times for the Senate coming. We're getting reports today that Indian and Chinese troops clashed at the border in the Northeast last week. The incident reportedly led to minor injuries on both sides and that they have both disengaged from the area. Now, officials have given no details on the nature of the fighting or the number of troops involved. Tensions have simmered along that part of the border since June of 2020. Another regime Iranian protester has been executed, this time a public hanging. A U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price says it is a move to intimidate anybody who wants to speak out against what the rulers are thinking.
As Iran's leadership continues its violent crackdown on peaceful protesters, they should know that the United States is watching, but more importantly, the world is watching.
Price saying it shows the regime's fear of having people freely speak. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger has been subpoenaed by the Justice Department as it investigates the insurrection and efforts by Donald Trump and support to undermine the 2020 presidential election results. Former Congresswoman Karen Bass on her first day of her first job as mayor of Los Angeles, and she says job 1.
I will start my first day as mayor at the city's emergency operations centers, where my first act as mayor will be to declare a state of emergency on homelessness. A state of emergency on homelessness.
And Elon Musk was booed on stage at a Dave Chappelle show in San Francisco. Chappelle commenting probably some people in the audience who got fired at Twitter. Musk says the first time he's ever been booed publicly. In San Francisco, I'm Ed Baxter. This is Bloomberg. All right, Brian.
All right, Ed, thanks very much. The time, 35 minutes past the hour. Some stories coming up. China and Saudi Arabia agreed on $50 billion worth of deals. An interesting one here. New Zealand's home sales fell 36.1% year on year in the month of November. And more on the China reopening. That's all ahead right here on Bloomberg Daybreak Asia. This is Bloomberg.
This week, inflation and the Fed are front and center.
Something for Wall Street to talk about.
Tune in for the latest read on inflation tomorrow at 8:30.
How does this report change the Fed speak?
Then join us for coverage of the Fed decision Wednesday, starting at 1:30.
It seems like a 50 basis point rate hike is being locked in.
Inflation in focus tomorrow. Then the Fed decides Wednesday.
Look at this move in the equity market, exploding higher.
This week on Bloomberg 1130 and Bloomberg Television.
Access a vast selection of global fixed income securities at Interactive Brokers Bond Marketplace. Search their deep availability of over 1 million bonds globally. IBKR has no markups or built-in spreads and low, fully transparent commissions on bonds. IBKR displays the highest bids and lowest offers received from the electronic venues they access. In addition, clients can interact with each other by placing bids and offers online to execute their trade. Learn more at IBKR.com.
This view was worth the hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code STOCK at checkout. That's harrys.com, code STOCK. Enjoy!
On the latest edition of Balance of Power, a conversation with Democratic Congressman Brad Sherman of California on the collapse of FTX and regulating cryptocurrencies.
Well, in the investment world, to protect investors, we tend to go with full disclosure. But there are certain products that are antisocial in their nature. You can't go public with a company that is going to build burglary equipment because we don't want burglars to have better tools. And a crypto exists as a tool for the very large market, which is why it hopes to be successful, of tax evasion, bankruptcy law evasion, which I know Mr. Bankman-Fried is learning more and more about, and the invasion of sanctions laws or drug laws, etc. So from an investor protection standpoint, maybe it's enough to provide disclosure, but there are certain products that shouldn't be out there, and one that has as its sole advantage and its namesake evading U.S. sanctions laws, tax laws, bankruptcy laws. We just don't need a product like that. One good thing about crypto is it helps you evade the laws of bad countries. But just like burglary tools might help you burglarize somebody who deserves to be burglarized. The other thing is the payment system. A blockchain is interesting technology. We have, I think over the next 10 years, the payment systems for the U.S. dollar and other currencies is going to be much better. I don't like to see this 3.5% charge that merchants are paying.
There's more of this and other conversations on today's edition of the Balance of Power podcast. Listen on the Bloomberg Business app, Bloomberg.com, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and at Bloomberg Quick Take. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
U.S. equities traded higher in the last session. It's going to be a pivotal week, I think, for markets, to be sure. We have a number of rate decisions. The Fed is on that list, along with the ECB and the Bank of England. Tomorrow, of course, it's the important data on U.S. consumer prices. We had Treasury yields rising across the curve, a 10-year that was up 3 basis points, a 2-year